Mr. Crosland, your new ministry has been described as a super ministry. Do you think it's necessary to have such an all-embracing ministry to control detailed problems such as pollution, which I believe is in your brief?
The position is this, that we've got in this country a very effective battery of controls on pollution, I think probably as effective as exists in any country of the world, and we've had some very striking successes in clean air, for example, in some of our rivers, and in various other directions. But the trouble with this problem is that it's bound to get worse unless you're constantly increasing our own effort just because of the rise in population and so on. And so we all felt that, although we had a good record, that we must look at the whole field of controls, see if there are any gaps, see if there is any new coordinating machinery needed, and perhaps above all, see whether the machinery is adequate for foreseeing the problems that could suddenly arise in the future, so that we're not caught out, as is always a danger in this field. And that's why the Prime Minister decided we ought to have this new super ministry.
One of your other concerns is with environmental planning. I think you have powers which enable you to control the ordinary person's environment, so to speak, all over Britain. Is this really going to make a difference to the ordinary citizen?
Well, I hope it will. It's of desperate importance that it should make a difference to the ordinary citizen. Otherwise, life simply will not be worth living for traffic reasons apart from anything else. I think the objects here are twofold. First of all, to make sure that you've got the men and the machinery to produce plans for cities and for regions which really are sensible and which take account of what the ordinary person wants, the kind of environment that he wants to live in. That's the first part of it. The second part, which I shall be very involved in, is what you might call a watchdog function. That's to say, to make sure that the plans, when they are produced, reflect what people actually want. I mean, people are constantly suggesting driving great motorways through the middle of cities, and the question is whether this is really what the people want.
It seems to be a question of a conflict between preserving the old Britain and creating a good new one.
Yes, I think it's a twofold thing. I think there is a preservationist side to the thing, which is of great importance, both in the countryside and in terms of old buildings and the rest of it. But you can't be content with that. You've got to have some positive plan as well for dealing with all the extra population, traffic, and the rest of it.